Just
Oh, come on, you're not going to forget anything.
I'm getting old, so I'm ready to fight for Social Security benefits. So just realize how old I am now.
Well, we can
Yeah.
certainly begin, Jimmy and Lily and John. I appreciate you
Yes.
taking time, so we won't wait for Nicole. It's okay.
All right. She definitely can join us whenever
Thank
she's
you.
ready. But Johnson, you arrange this meeting. You would like to kick it off with some intro or something, or do I chain enter here? Perfect.
Yeah, I'll just kick it off with when I retired 7 or 8 years ago, I was looking for some things to get me involved in the community, particularly some things that could help me help other people. And that's morphed into giving back, whatever you want to say. It's all about trying to be kind and helping people.
Right.
And two of the first two presentations that I saw when I joined Rotary were, I think Doors of Change was first, and then the second one was Build a School Foundation. And I just really like both of those organizations. Now I'm involved with both of them, but it's always been worlds apart. There's this group and this group, and the fact that these two nonprofits can work together to try to improve people's lives, particularly younger children and young adults. I think it's awesome. So I respect everybody on both sides of the plates here, and I'm just great I could help connect the two of these groups.
Okay.
That's it.
Great, wonderful. Joanne, if you don't mind, I definitely have the agenda I sent out, and we can follow the agenda. We do the meet and greet for a couple of minutes, and then we go into the detail. I think this will be the beginning of a longer partnership. So that's why I don't envision we close out everything today, because this is something I'm looking forward to devote this year, 2026 and 2027 of my life to see it come to fruition. So that's why I think this is a very beginning. So if you don't mind, I would like to ask you to introduce, you and Nicole and maybe the door of change a little bit, so we all can have a baseline of who we are, what we do.
I certainly, I'd be honored to. Thank you, Jimmy. And welcome, Nicole. We have been, Doors of Change is a nonprofit that has been helping homeless youth for over 20 years. Jeffrey Sitkov is our founder, and he has been very passionate about helping transitional age youth. We refer to them as TAY. They are
Right.
17 to 24-year-old youth. And the reason why he is so passionate about this age is he has realized that the earlier we intervene when young people are homeless, the more we can avoid the chronic homeless adults that we all see on the streets.
Right.
So when polls were taken, it appeared, Jimmy and Lily, that 50% of the homeless, chronic older people you see on the streets were homeless before the age 25. So that's a big number for us to be concerned about, and we want it to be very supportive to help prevent that from happening. So 20 years ago, Jeffrey began the program, and over the last 10 years, we've probably made significant changes. And where that's really been most beneficial is we now have over 116 community partners. So at Doors of Change, I see we sort of are the boots on the ground, if you will. We have two full-time, two and a half case managers, two full-time case managers, and one young man who's joined us for a part-time case management responsibilities. And what we do is basically we are the first responders. So if a homeless youth comes to San Diego County, oftentimes from Arizona, Seattle, all the surrounding areas, comes to California to find happiness or joy, or they're evading, whatsoever happening from their home situation. They come to California, and if they all of a sudden things don't work out, oftentimes, so they'll become homeless overnight often. So they will find us through 211. We are now part of 211. If you call emergency services, we will come to the top of the list. So we take calls 24/7, and that means Martin Luther King Day. That means after 5, and that means on holidays and weekends. So that really separates us, I think, from a lot of nonprofits out there, that we are 24/7 coverage, because we realize that these young people, there's windows of opportunity for them to be able to have the courage to call, to be in a safe environment to call, is so critical that we respond. So once the call comes in, we do an intake, and depending on their crises, if they're in a DV situation, domestic violence, or if they're looking for shelter or housing, depending on their need, we will then assign them a case manager who's also on 24/7. And we work through the Homeless Management Information Service. It's Clarity, it's a database, so we can share the information with our other partners to see where this person has been before, to see how we can help support them the best way. And then we will involve our partners. If they're looking for mental health, we'll contact Jane Weston, Rita Crowell, other agencies here in San Diego that support mental health. If they need shelters, we'll work with our partners that can provide shelters and housing. So it's a real collaborative effort. I think because we've been doing this for over 20 years, we are seen in the community as real supporters. We have a good reputation, and we are very people will find us because they know that our referrals are going to be the best to our ability, and we're professionals and we have a lot of passion. So that's sort of, we're very small. I will tell you that. We have only 6 or 7 employees. Nicole works with us part-time. There's myself as program director and now president. And there's 2, as I mentioned, 2 case managers and a part-time case manager. And we have a bookkeeper. We have 2 people that help us with fundraising. So it's a really small staff. I say we're small but mighty. But we all love what we do. So we're, again, always looking for partners and opportunities to help serve our young people. So I hope that gives you an overview of what we do.
Awesome. Wow. I heard so many key words in there. It's a passion, youth, and, small but mighty. And that pretty much resonated with us,
That's us.
a lot. Because I know that there is a slide on the deck about the BuildASchool Foundation, but something that we just want to share from the personal standpoint. But Lily and I are refugees from Vietnam. So we came to Vietnam to the United States after the war, after the Vietnam Wars. We've been here for over 40 years. Lily been here a little bit longer before I did. But we came from the world that we knew pretty well about poverty, homelessness, or half of the time went to bed hungry because you just have no food to eat. And Lily can share with you a lot more dire stories. I escaped Vietnam 15 times before I finally make it out to Thailand. We both stayed in a refugee camp. She in Hong Kong, I was in Thailand. So a lot of these things is our childhood is nothing to brag about, and yet it builds characters, right? So that's why when we decided, hey, we achieved the American dream, what's next? So we say, let's give back. Let's perpetuate this American dream for the next generation. And the first thing we want to do, we want to build school for children that because we do believe education is a game changer. We firmly believe education is a game changer. So if I invest in anything of our hard-earned money, that would be education and children. Because I see, and that's why we see the transition of what we've been doing the last 10 years with the foundation. We really see a lot of young people that you help is the perfect demographic that we like to start invested in, and that would be the next chapter of us. The last 10 years, we do a lot of infrastructure. We build school, we build bridges, we build library, we build dormitory. But now we want to focus on career-oriented. We want to build how can we transition them into a productive young professional contribute to the world, right? So that's why we love to see what you're doing, get them off the street. And the thing that we hope to partner is that how can we turn them from the victim mentality into victors? How can they see themselves as a powerful camp counselor, English teacher, and and we have a perfect setting because we in 11 countries around the world, and we have location, we have infrastructure, and we figured out why don't we combine these? We take all of these youth that really want to do good and be given a second chance, take them back to where we have the infrastructure with so many orphaned kids still in Vietnam, Cambodia, other places, and teach them, right? Teach them English. They all have ability to teach English. That's the first thing. Second, be a leader, be a brother, be a big sister, right? That's another thing that we can see. They all can do it because these children will look up to them and say, oh, if all of these brothers and sisters get out of poverty and change their life, I can do that too. So with the help we can do all of that. So that's really the setting, how we see for the next 5 years that we want to focus on and grow this demographic that exactly that you serve in.
Wonderful. Absolutely. And you could see your passion. And I think people who have been in similar situations are true, can sort of go out there and represent it because you've experienced it in spite of, and that's congrats to both of you for your hard work.
Yeah. And Lily, anything you want to add before I go through the slide deck?
Oh yes, I personally have firsthand experience in terms of myself and my family was homeless when we were in Vietnam. And when I came here, I seek the opportunity right away. And I know education is the only way out. I grew up in East San Diego, and cockroaches were our friends because that's just where we came, and that's where we live because that's all we can afford. But for me, I personally have experience with foster kids because I volunteer for CASA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had 4 kids that was assigned to me. This is a few years ago. And recently the mom just passed away, so I reconnected with that family. And she has 2 more kids since my departure with their family. But she passed away with the 5 kids.
Too.
Yeah, they are like 2 months old up to 18. Anyway, so I see the need of your program because after 18, I was surprised to learn that you have 17 to 24 instead of 18 because I thought you're in the system until you're adult. But anyway, after 18, I don't know where they go. And I feel really bad for those kids that in the system all these years, and then they get lost. Suddenly there's no hand holding and stuff like that. And when I was volunteer at CASA, they always tell me that you will be the one stable adults in their life because nobody else is. And I took that to heart because I know their life is rough, and I want to see if I can make an impact by taking them out to the park, taking them out to eat, whatever I can within my power that the court allows me to do it. So that's the experience that I have at firsthand here with CASA. And I love that organization. It's just a big commitment, and show up to court and write paper and report is like as a daunting task. So that's that. And I do see the need of your organization. I do have a lot of questions about the organization,
Sure.
but should we not?
Q&A. We have Q&A.
Okay, so we do that. We delve into that later. And that's that.
I do want to mention Nicole here because you are a sister foster mom, and I'll let Nicole, if she would feel comfortable sharing her experience, because I'm just so very proud of Nicole.
Yeah, I also had a very rough childhood, so of course it was in me to be the nurturing person as I grew up and became older. And I started foster care just to help those kiddos out who just needed a place to stay until their parents got better. And we were really close with them, had a good relationship, and then we were able to send most of them home. There were a couple of youth that their parents just could not make the right turns. So I adopted 2 of them. And right now I have an 8-year-old. The other one did pass away when she was 18. But I'm all about foster care. I'm all about supporting the youth, all about bringing that connection. So I really appreciate what this foundation is doing.
Wonderful. Wow. I thought you like 25 or something, Nicole.
Thanks. I'm 37, but I'll take that.
Wow. That's so cool. I feel so much energy and feel so much love and compassion in this call already. So wonderful. All right, let me go through the slide deck a little bit. My executive experience always taught me to send the read ahead packet ahead so you can do this in quickly. So,
Sure.
the real meat is in the Q&A. So anything that I think that we already know well, I'm not going to regurgitate but the background, we are both people, and I have executive background. I have the business background. And to tell you the truth, we run BuildASchool Foundation exactly like a business instead of a charity. Believe it or not, our funding is less than 150K a year, and usually most of the time we're lucky we have like 100K or so, but we build 25 to 30 schools every year with that funding. So you can see all of us working for free. All of my volunteers working for free when we travel to all of these countries once a year. Like April of this year will be the time that we're heading back to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand. We pay for all our travel. We pay for our expenses. 100% of donation go to a program, to charity, and we can proudly say that our return on investment are always over 200, because when I went to Harvard study how to run a nonprofit, I already make a strategic decision. We only give half what people give, asking us. That's the most. The rest, the logo have to have skin in the game. They gotta go do fundraise. We teach them to do fundraise, but most of the time they have to come up with the half that needed to build, and that turned out to be a very successful model for us. No overhead, and logo gotta have skin in the game, and that really is our strategy. Here's the phone number that I keep seeing it popping up, and this just came in again. So I'm not sure who is that.
No, that's me trying to get a better view because I can only work on my phone for the sound.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
now I
Yeah.
just want to get a video.
Okay.
Now I want to see the bigger picture when you're doing the deck. That's all.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so that's now we know. And to be honest, my mission in life, I just want to be a voice for the voiceless children. I think these kids really need somebody that stand up and help them, and that's I make that to be my life mission. And Build School Foundation, 9.5 years, and we built over 200 schools. And this is a really, really stress goal because we set out to build 100 in 10 years, which is 2026. Next May will be our 10th birthday, and we crushed it 201 with 6 months to spare. So you can see that when we focus on the vision, when we focus on the missions, we can do wonderful. And that really the philosophy I bring to the charities, this charity, because we want everybody to involve with us, to have the same passion, to have the same compassion that we do, and we run the charity like we run the business. I do a quickly research because I know that every year our city of San Diego spend over $100 million on the homeless, and I don't really see a lot of result because I participate in a lot of these activities. And we went down to downtown. We hand out, food, blankets. Lily hand out a care package for the homeless, and we did it a few times. We felt good, but I go home and I feel like we're not really making an impact by doing that, right? It's just make them feel good for a day, make us feel good for a day, but I don't see the long result, because when we spend $5,000, we build a school for hundreds of kids, and we can see the return on investment for the next decades or so is huge compared to go pass out lunches and care package for the homeless San Diego. Granted, they really need it, but I always think about the ROI when I go invest the money. And that's why I said school and education and children, those are the things that I focus on. But you probably know about this TAY problem more than us, and we just shocked when we look at the number and we say, how can we be a part of this mission that we can help solve for San Diego? That's something that I've been studying and think about this topic for the last 2 years when I say what would be the next thing for Build School Foundation. All right, so when we see this is a problem, and I say, hey, we have so much infrastructure in 11 countries. Why don't we take some of this partnership with our local organizations such as Door of Change, Urban Street Angels, and then we turn them into leaders. We take them to Vietnam for 2-3 weeks, turn them into camp counselor, turn them into English teacher, turn them into a victor. And then when they come back, they can have a case, a portfolio, or they can say, hey, I have experience in doing this. So that's why I see the transition to turn these talented youth into productive, citizens, and, help them rebuild their life. So that's why I do the term homeless to heroes, but really I want to turn them into teachers, because that's really is what I think. We train them, we bring them all with the opportunity, and unless we find an outlet, we find an outcome for them to have job, to have a career, they're going to get lost and they're going to struggle pretty soon the minute that we let go of the hand, right? So that's why we bring the concept, and we're very familiar with this because we brought our donor, we brought Rotaracts from Ventura County. We brought a lot of Rotarians back to Vietnam with us, to Cambodia with us. So we know how to take foreigners quote unquote, in Canada, in America, and in other parts of the world go back to Vietnam with us. And we did that for 2 years already. So we know how to do this thing. And we know how to get through all of the logistics to handle how to take, let's say 10 Westerner back to Vietnam or Cambodia or Philippines for 2-3 weeks. The concept I have here is very simple. We're going to have a competition to get all the talented youth compete for the 10 spots. That will be the pilot program that we want to do in 2027. We prep the whole 2026 and then we execute in 2027. So we're going to now select about 10, the best, the one that we think they have the maturity to go and start working with children, international children. And then we build them at the team, and I can go into more detail when we get to that state, but I already have all of these thoughts in my mind. And basically is that we want to make sure them pass and have the maturity to go join the mission and turn them into instructor, to camp counselor, to teacher. And when they come back, we have the huge gala to celebrate and try to attract more donors, try to attract more people that, say, hey, this is the result of the mission after 3 weeks. And let's see how much of these kids, how can we transform their life? How can we, really give them a life-changing experience? And this is the 3 weeks, we train them, we put them to work, and then, we give them time to reflect. What have we learned in the process? How you can help us make this thing better? And when you return to your organization, what lesson you can apply and make your organization better, or how you can bring in future candidates to go join our program and transform their life as well. So that's the... And I think this is something where I say, when we do this, we want to pick kids with these 4 key criteria that we want them to grow, right? How resilient they are, how culturally, they can handle in the very different environment. And then we do give them a very structural, the classroom material, the training, the teaching, the interaction. I used to work at YMCA, so I know how to deal with these things with minor age children that we tap into. And from the Toastmaster experience, I want to boil down to everybody involved with us become a very, very good public speaker. Because when they become public speaker, then they can be our ambassador and carry on the program to the next phase. The transition we have here is that we work with all the San Diego youth organization. BuildASchool Foundation will take care of most of the logistics out of the country. I definitely can take care of the coaching, the training curriculum, and we all work together so we can go see corporate sponsors. Because when I do the cost calculation, I say, to do this thing to the level that we really want to do, it would run about $35,000. And $35,000 is a big pot of money, because with this funding, we can go build 5, 6, 7 schools. So that really is all I'm looking at. Do I really want to invest 2 years and $35,000 to do this? Or should we go and just build like 7 more schools? So those are always the trade-off that in my mind. And of course, when they come back, we want to make it more exciting. I can go find a sponsor, or we can go find a sponsor can say, hey, if you come out of this competition and you voted to be the best, then you have the grand prize, 5, 10, 20,000 or whatnot. And this will go to a scholarship of a college degree you want, or some vocational training that you want to pursue. So this is something that we can have a beautiful gala when we return, because we want to promote the success story of all of these children. So the thing I see here is that every year we can pilot with 10, and we can make a major impact on 500 to 1,000 orphanage kids in this country easily, because those are the baseline that we work with all the people here. And I can see that once we've done the pilot program in Vietnam, we can scale to other countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, and we have a lot of connection from Channel 8, Channel 10, and Fox. We definitely can reach out to them and try to get media coverage. And all of these things is, and you can see that I definitely have a lot of these things. One person or one organization can say, hey, I want to sponsor the whole thing. I can sponsor just a student or anything in between. So these are the things that we definitely want to start talking to people. We pitch into a lot of organizations and try to get sponsorship. And I do believe that is the last slide on the deck. Really quickly, thing that I've been toiling for the last 3 months, boiled it down to like 10 minutes. So now it's a good time for Q&A.
No, we appreciate that, and you did a great recap of your program, and we've certainly looked at it, Nicole and I. It looks tremendous, and honestly, to both of you, thank you, because we believe as well, yes, we believe as well, education is what breaks the cycle. And we certainly embrace that, and we've had more opportunities the last few years to partner with San Diego Foundation, their Urban League program. Jimmy and Lily, they were new partners with them. We just received a grant, and what it does is help students for scholarships for not only colleges, community college, but trade schools. A lot of our young people are not suited for a academic college experience, but are much more suited for trade schools. So we are working with that diligently, and I'll mention to you, because it's so important, I think, to be fully transparent with you both. And is that part of our problem, or not problem, part of our challenge with our youth, the demographics we work with are usually in crises. They are usually just figuring out how to get to the next day. Most of our young people do suffer from mental illness, and that could be from depression all the way to full-blown schizophrenia. So what's hard for us is we have to address that first before we can sort of set them up for anything, honestly, even for housing. Because what we've learned over the last 10 years is, everybody was wanting to get these kids housed, right? And what was happening, just like to your point, these kids end up back on the street again. It's like a revolving door. You feed them, you get them a shelter, you give them new clothes, and then 3 months later, you see the same kids out there. What's the missing piece? What's gone wrong? And, we put more money towards transitional age youth through the government. The problem is they're not addressing the mental health.
Right.
And if you support mental health, these youth will make the right decisions. So we've taken a different approach where we've really tried to earn trust first so that they can actually listen to our recommendation, and that they could trust us that oftentimes they need medication. We have kids who have attention deficit. We have kids who can't read, kids who have been sort of lost in the San Diego or California public school system, lots of learning disabilities, as well as mental health challenges. So I love this program. I love this idea for this program. The one thing you need to know for us is that our demographics, there would be very few, the ones that we're working with right now, that would qualify for this, because we would never want to set someone up to fail. And to this program is a huge commitment in a wonderful, wonderful way, but they need to be ready to be the best of themselves, right? And we're still trying to find that for them. We have about 60 youth at any one time we work with, through the 2.5 case managers. And even now, I'll be honest with you, this Urban League San Diego Foundation experience, which gives full ride scholarships, out of all the youth we're working with, we referred 31 to this program, and I think 4 have gone through the program. Barely. So I just want you to understand that our demographics are sort of in that crisis mode. And Nicole, you can comment on this, having been working with our youth as well. And Nicole spearheads the Urban League San Diego Foundation program, so she's familiar with the referrals and the success of it.
Can I want to say something. I gotta go meet a client, so thank you so much. And I do have
Thank you,
questions I
Lily.
got down for Jimmy.
Okay, Lily, take care.
Thank you, Lily, for
Yes.
all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, you're on mute. There you go.
No, I know. Sorry. Joanne, well said. I do agree. I think, I'm sorry. There's a really weird pop-up that I can't get to go away. So we definitely work with youth that are not in that specific demographic yet. Like they're not ready to go to the next step. That being said, we have youth who we might be able to talk to who have found stability and might have that
Mhm.
that growth that they want or that potential opportunity. But we also can connect you with like any local community partners if you have anyone that you're interested in reaching out to. I just don't feel like our demographic is good for this program, but we could definitely look for others that are like Urban Street or, those others that have the housing and everything in place for them.
So
Yeah.
can I say something here?
Go ahead,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I guess I'm using the phone. Okay. So gonna echo.
You just got to mute one or the other.
Yeah, you can mute the one that you're not using, and then it will be no echo.
Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, but one of the things I've always wondered from Doors of Change, and I brought this up at many board meetings, is continuing this story, because it's not like we just release them at 25, but we've be nice to know how they're doing as they get older. And we have, I don't know how many people that are over 25 that we're still in touch with, but I think and again, Joanne, you can totally tell me I'm wrong here, but we got to have several people, because Jimmy's going to go to many different foundations. He'll find 10 people, but if we can just get one or two of our graduates, doesn't matter how old they are, this is the continuation of their life, and as a result of the Doors of Change nonprofit and their relationship now with BuildASchool, I think it's very good. It's going to help the people that would be willing to want to try this, and it's going to be good for our organization this is just another nonprofit that we'd be working with, but this is more of the icing on the cake once they get stable and they still.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah,
No,
I
I want to ask
think-
Jimmy,
Sure.
excuse me, could it be, pardon me, could it be over 25? I'm sorry, I thought it was 17 to 25.
No, for us, there's no age limit. I just want to target the demographic
Got you.
that you're serving, because I do agree with a lot of your sharing the mission is that if you want to target the homeless people, we want to target them when they're young, because then you have more impact, more opportunity for them to change, right? If you want to help some homeless 50, 60 years old, not like they don't deserve the help, but helping them, the return on investment would be a lot harder than helping somebody 18 to 25 to 30, right? So I say, I have no problem. I don't want to take somebody too old to go work with kids either.
Of course.
I mean, it's look a little bit strange, but young people with a lot of potential. I like what John's saying, because two nights ago, Lily and I watched a documentary on YouTube. It called Homeless to Harvard. And this is based on a true story. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you see it. And that's something that resonates with us a lot. Because I do believe at the Buddhist, as somebody practice meditation and mindfulness, it's hard to change, just impose external sources on somebody. The change have to come from within. And that's exactly what, like Nicole said, I'm looking for 10, 20 volunteers really want to change from within, and they want to change their life. So these are opportunity, and this will be a very rare opportunity for them. This is kind of like second chance when we came to America here, right? I want to take these 10 kids that really want to have a second chance and change their life. And that's why I'm talking to all the president, the university that I'm teaching, and I'm collaborating, and I give a lot of keynote to this organization. I say, I don't mind even take college students that are homeless to go try this, right? Because from what Lily and I saw in that movie, Homeless to Harvard, Lily resonated with that a lot, because she said, yeah, so many times I think I hit the rock bottom. I have nowhere to go but up when I came to this country. I felt exactly the same way, right? And most of the refugees that have success story, we felt the same way. Our life cannot be anywhere but up when we hit the rock bottom. I want to find these 10 kids that really think they hit the rock bottom and they want to change. This is not the program that everybody that, not ready commit, and that's why the interview process will be very rigorous because we want to select the best. And when John know me pretty well, when I do something, I will not fail because it's just not in my lexicon, right? We do, it will be a success story
We can
and
see
it
that.
will be a launching pad. Yeah.
Jimmy, so we can help understand. Can you help us? What would be the qualifiers? Like, knowing our demographics, we've given you a little idea of our kids. A lot of, I mean, just to, the demographics are that they do suffer from mental health.
Right.
A lot of them don't have IDs. A lot of them haven't worked. Tell us what would be the qualifiers, if I will, or the type that would be successful for us to even present to you to interview. Like, what would be important for this person to be successful in this program?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair question. I think first of all, it has somebody that willing to change. That's something that I really looking for. Because if you're willing to change, then I can help you any way, shape, and form. But if you don't, if I have to change you, then it become too difficult, right? So first of all, you have to be willing to change. And second, you got to understand the risk involved with this program. Because when you go travel to this country, you be on the car ride to the countryside. We built in the rural area. John been there with us. John went back to Vietnam with us, and he can tell you how rough the ride could be. And you can get into the car accident and you might die. Right, I'm gonna be very blunt, right? Lily and I, when we go on this mission, we risk our life, and we have to make sure that our wheels is ready, up to date for our two daughters. We have two daughters, 27, 24. They keep saying, "Hey, mom, dad, do you really have to go on these places?" I say, "No, this is something we love to do, and we're not going to not doing it just because we worry about things that might or might not happen. But the reality, I have to prepare my daughters for that. We might not come back." Right? So those are the things that people have to understand the risks that they involve when they doing this. Okay, and we do everything in our power to make sure we minimize those risks from the risk management standpoint. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to involve risk. You might drink something or you might eat something, you might have food poisoning, and that's happened all the time, right? So, but then we have like you have to take all the shot, you have to do that. But the thing that I really looking for is somebody that are willing to change from within and somebody willing to work with children. It's very important. Somebody have to have that say, I like working with children. Because we will introduce you to orphanage kids that all they want is just to be helped. So many times that Lee and I visit these places, it's heartbroken for us to leave because little kids just cling onto our legs and they pretty much just say, a lot of little girls just look up to Lily and say, "Can I call you mommy?" They just want that. They just want to have that because they might have food, they might have shelter, but they just don't have the people that care for them because one or two caretaker cannot handle 40, 50 kids, right? And one thing is that it's very important that I can go apply for the visa.
Okay,
the visa,
yeah.
like to Vietnam, to Cambodia, that means they have to have the passport and we
Sure.
in our cost, we already budget for all of that, get the visa, get things approved. But the bottom line is somebody willing to change, willing to have to make a difference in their life, not that other kids' life yet. They really want to make a difference in their life. They really want to get out where they are. Those are the kids that we wish that we crazy to get our hands on those children and work with them and turn them into like productive adults.
Well, I appreciate. Oh, sorry.
I want to make one quick comment. Sorry. So I just was noting because I saw kind of the face of Joanne when you had noted that, there's the risk of death and whatever. So it looks like they have survived all of the trips that they've made, which is magical. So I just wanted to make it into a good note here. But also I kind of have a question just regarding who our demographic might be. Um, what if they have any current or former addiction? I mean, what are anywhere in there? They could be ready and going, but they also may have a current, addiction to whatever substance. And that may be unknowing to us, but, if they go into this program and they're using or, I'm trying to figure out what would your guys' role be in that if they were to fail or do anything wrong during this program.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, that's the challenge, working with minor, right? Because we introduce them to minor, and that's the risk that I'm so glad that my YMCA year training it really come into play. We have to have our due diligence to vet this kid, but the past, if they are addicted, but they clean now, is something that I definitely looking for. And actually, that's a success story. That hey, I used to be an addict to this and that, but now I change turn my life around. They've been better story. But let's say if somebody lapses, the opportunity to be around us and get into trouble is virtually zero. In Vietnam, possession of drug is a death sentence.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, they're not kidding. They go to lie you up with a firing squad and shoot you. They that strict. It doesn't mean that they don't have illegal drug and substance because
Sure.
money, everything can happen. But at least it's the temptation is not like everywhere, right? I'm more worried about, do I have somebody that potentially can be like pedophiles or something like, or somebody being abused, and I might exhibit those kind of things, okay? Because those are the things I'm more concerned. And that's why the vested process, the interview process have to be vigorous, and we can detect some of this. And I have to say that I'm pretty good with reading people. So those are the things that I feel confident that when we, and from our experience, we can tell as somebody that really passionate about doing this and want to change. So I think with our experience collectively, and when we select the board, or all the decision makers toward the end, we would select the right one. But the key is that we hope to get exposed to the bigger part of candidates, so we can pitch it to them. Give me 10, 15 minutes, I can put the program together, go pitch it, and I just want 20, 30 that come and say, I'm ready for this program, I want to be a part of it, and we will make sure we have a really good selection process to find the 10.
Jimmy, it reminds me, when I think through this a little bit, the fact that they need to be physically fit as well, because you're talking about Vietnam, you're talking about perhaps food poisoning. I've been there. I've traveled all over the world, and I've gotten food poisoning, and you got to be. It's no fun task, no fun occurrence. So the physically fit, mentally and physically, is very, very important for this person to be able to thrive and not be a liability to you, but to be able to be someone who's in good shape. And it kind of reminds me of the CCC, the California Conservative Corps. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. The California Conservation Corps. It's sort of where our kids have been when they've hit rock bottom, right? When school hasn't worked out for them, when their parents have sort of abandoned them. They've sort of gone to shelters and all sorts of things, and they're ready for a change. And I think that's what it is. The kids have to be ready for the change. So we've referred them to California Conservation Corps, where they go away and they do physical work. They fight fires. They're trained to fight fires. They're, doing all those kinds of things. So to me, though, the only way we've ever referred, and on all the years I've been here, we've only referred 3 because they have to be physically fit, because you have to, be able to do that sort of work. So that's another factor in here, is that they need to be physically fit. And a lot of our young people can be, and a lot of them are not. I'll be honest. They don't take care of themselves. They haven't been to doctors. They're some of them have eating disorders, but nonetheless, we'll just keep that as there is. I think that's one of the qualifiers, is to be physically fit to be able to endure the type of travel that's required. The other thing I want to share with you, Jimmy, is again, full disclosure, is about 40 to 50% of our youth are LGBTQ.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes a difference. Being in Vietnam, I'm just being really honest. I just want to protect our youth. I mean, they're out, they're open with it. I don't know how that lands in your program.
Okay, so the first question about physical, you're absolutely correct. I'm a fitness nuts. So I will train them, and that part of the training. They got to go hiking with me. And I will make sure that they hiking 2 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be something fancy. It could be just go up Black Mountain 2 mile, come down 2 mile, depending where they live, I can find a mountain. We do the 5 peak, 16 mile mission trail all the time. We do that in a day, but I don't expect that. But I do envision 3 months of physical training from the walking, the exercising, and I do believe the healthy body will lead to a healthy mind. So that's why I'm firmly believing that, right? And also for the LGBT, I'm completely open to that. Vietnam is very open on that. Cambodia very open to that thing too. And I just will tell them we're working with Catholic orphanages here, working with Buddhist orphanages. So we will not bring that up, but we will respect everybody. And the key thing in our teaching is to be mindful and to be compassionate. And that's very important in my teaching. Mindfulness and compassion is extremely important. And that's why we work a lot with religious organization. I'm Buddhist, Lily is Catholic, but we work well together. We practice meditation, we practice mindfulness, and we apply mindfulness. We have 3 key words in our organization, which is passion, compassion, and mindfulness. And we practice them all 3.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. I think based on what I hear, and I'm more than happy to answer any question, even the one that you might think later today. But what I would love to be able to have opportunities is to spread this program to more youth that you think that can be benefit from our program. Right, and we just want to share this opportunity, and a lot of people would say, "Oh my God, who wouldn't want to go to have like 3 weeks vacation in Vietnam or Cambodia, Philippines?" It's not a vacation; it's the transformation. It's the transformation. Because I do believe when these children go on this mission with us, they go back and their life will never be the same. It will never be the same. They will see that, oh my God, there's so much that I can give to this world, and whatever I've been feeling or whatever I've been told all my life is start changing today.
Well, I agree 100% in it, and I appreciate the seriousness of it, because this is not something you do casually.
Correct.
It's a full commitment, and I think that what I'd like to do, having learned more about things, I'm not too surprised. I can tell it was a very disciplined program. That's why it's successful. That's why you're successful, because you have high expectations, and it's so important to have the right partners for you and the right youth accompany you on these trips.
Right.
So I'd love for Nicole and I to strategize. We do have partners here in San Diego that do have youth, that we should offer this, and with your blessings, introduce this to people.
Sure.
To find that right, Urban Street Angels has these youth that are housed, so they're sort of off the street. They need to be further away from off the street to be successful. They can't sort of be right in this moment.
Correct.
So I think that that's important. Their addictions are dealt with, their mental health is supported, so that they can go this next chapter in their life, which is this amazing opportunity.
Right.
But certainly it's not a vacation. And I don't want to have someone, I always believe you shouldn't be running from something, you should be running towards something.
Right.
And I think that that's important. So we need to do our vetting,
right,
so that it could be successful, Jimmy. And I'm going to think hard and long on this. As John knows, I'm like you. If I could put myself in that same category, where if I do something, I want it to be successful.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, any opportunity, and Lily and I is here. We committed. We can hop on the car, driving to anywhere in San Diego. We can set up the Zoom if there are 10, 20 organizations interested. We can do a massive Zoom, or we can pull everybody in to have a lunch. We're more than happy to go grab pizzas, and drink and sit in the room and just share it, and then kick it off and say, hey, what are other ideas? What are the challenges that you might think or who you think will fit with this program? I would love to see that collaboration.
I'd like to just say something. I started thinking, wow, there's got to be people that I know that have kids that are in the right age group, that this could be such a great program for them. But then I started thinking, well, they weren't homeless, and they probably don't have that hunger and lust and drive
Right.
because they weren't homeless.
Right.
So I'm not going to recommend somebody I think would be good and they really want to try to change their lives unless they've had a very rough upbringing, because this is where the passion comes from.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. I think we may have some people that are 25 to 30, Joanne, that may fit this profile that aren't that old and that have gotten a little further along. But the problem is they may have real jobs now. So this might be, I don't know. I don't know. It's a great challenge, Jimmy. I think this is an awesome. I wish I were a lot younger. I'd do this, but then I was
It,
never homeless, so I
it's
probably
an
wouldn't have
awesome opportunity. I'm wondering, Nicole, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I was just going to say maps.
Yes, sorry,
Oh my gosh,
I figured you were going to say it, so I put it to
great
type
minds
that
think
into the
alike.
chat.
Can you just take a minute on this about maps? This might be a good opportunity, Jimmy. Nicole,
Sure.
would you just explain a little bit what maps is?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give me just 1 second. Let me see if my thing will not be so slow. So MAPS is, I honestly have no idea what it even stands for. But it is a local, basically like a community get together. So it's where all of the bigger community, homelessness organizations around San Diego get together. We do different presentations. We talk about current like shelter needs, those kind of things. But we do invite community members to come in and do a presentation to all of the nonprofits who are on this call. And they serve all age ranges, all different types. So you would be talking to a bigger, broader community as well.
Okay. I would love to.
If you want, I can put you in an email with the main director of all of this and get you guys connected.
I would love to.
Okay, awesome.
It's an excellent opportunity, Jimmy. And as Nicole mentioned, it's a collaboration of, it's funny, we don't know what the acronym stands for, MAPS, but MAPPS, but it's a great opportunity. And they're always seeking for ways to support homeless youth or not even just youth, it's homeless. So that's a great idea. And we can send that off to you. And we'll be presenting to them next week. We give updates about what we're doing, and you always find something from it. Somebody will contact you as a result of that. So that could be a good opportunity through a Zoom.
Right. That would be great. Yes. Yeah, I hear John because when I pitched this to a couple of our close friends at the pilot at the market survey, they always say like, I love to sponsor and can you take my kid? I said, no, your kid in a $2 million home, it won't fit this.
Right.
It will cost a lot more for your kid to participate than
I was going to volunteer all 3 of mine. So
Yeah, you definitely. I'm serious about when you have somebody in your organization. It's like somebody really deserves this opportunity, and you can see potential grow even within your staff. That could be a recommendation, right? Because as long as we see somebody that go through the program come back and can help our organization and can make the organization better. Those are the things that we're looking for. Like I mentioned, I'm ready to have a couple meetings with all the counselor and all the president of the 3-4 major universities in San Diego here too, because I know that when I went up there and give keynote speakings, talk to them, a lot of them telling me that hey, we have a lot of students are homeless and sleep in their cars.
Jimmy, and if you Palomar College, I'll let you know them. They have a basic needs program. Palomar College has a lot of homeless youth. We're working with Morse High School that has some, well, they're younger, so you couldn't do that. But Palomar is a big one that has a lot of homeless youth. You may want to reach out to them if you have not already.
Okay, let me reach it out. I'm well connected with CSUSM, so definitely they probably have a good connection with Palomar too.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
well, I'm excited to see how we can, sort of help support, for more options for homeless youth. I always liked it for them to have as many options. And I think with homeless, we have to, the way we define homeless too is that you could be a paycheck away from homeless, right?
Right.
So you don't have to be literally walking the streets. I mean, couch surfing is homeless. If you're in a situation with your parents where they're telling you basically have to be out of the house by the end of the month for whatever reason.
Right.
So I think we want to be broad when we think about homeless, right? These are kids that do not have, they're home insecure.
Right.
or unhoused.
Right.
So I want to make sure we have that approach when we talk to MAPS, because we get calls all the time about, I have a 25-year-old kid, I can't keep him in the house anymore. He's
Right.
at rock bottom. What can you offer him? So I think we'll be open-minded to the word homeless.
Yes, wonderful. Yes, I definitely agree with that. I have three questions from Lily here. I hope to take the opportunity to ask Nicole and Joanne so I can report her
Sure.
after when she return. She asked me, what are the criteria to accept at the candidate two doors of change?
The criteria really is very simple, Jimmy. They have to be 17 to 24. Age
17.
is important. We have to limit it by our mission,
Okay.
by our funding. It's 17 to 24, and they would need to be homeless. And again, homeless can be couch surfing, home insecurity,
Okay.
and they'd also have to be willing to do an assessment. And that simply means to work with a case manager. We're not going to refuse anybody, but for really to go to the next steps, they have to be willing to do an intake where we can help get their situation so we can best help them find housing or whatever their needs are. That's really it.
Okay. I think Lily asking, I have a feeling that she asking it for the boys, the oldest boys in from her CASA kids here. What do they have to do to stay in the program?
We don't exit anybody out until they tell us they're ready, right? Depending on their needs, if they're looking for housing and they have jobs and they have good mental health, but they're simply looking for housing, once we secure housing for them, we'll take them off our active case management list, but they're always welcome to come back because things happen. They a year later they may have lost their housing, they lost their job, that whatever happens. So we exit them formally so that we can have a focused caseload, but we never, I mean, we always invite them back in if they need other additional help. So there's not really a formal exit. We're always willing to help people.
I see. Okay. And do you keep track of your success rate that who you transition into, let's say like, can land a job or go to college?
That is the hardest question. We get asked that all the time, as you can imagine, for grants. And this is sort of what you were alluding to in the beginning of your presentation, how you see all these youth getting, or kids getting food and things, but you don't know what happens to them.
Right.
Because we don't have an in-house program and housing program and in-house mental health, what we do is when we refer them to outside programs, it is really difficult to track what happens to them, Jimmy.
Oh,
We just took on Salesforce, which God bless Nicole is spearheading that. It's a huge training program
right.
to be able to keep all this data. Eventually, will we be able to find that? We just don't have the resources. It takes a lot of time and money to track where they end up.
Right.
What we try to do is prepare them the best we can and find the right match so they can have success. Can we tell you what happens to each and every youth 2 years later? No.
I apologize, but I have to be somewhere at 11:30, so I gotta
Okay. All
wrap
right.
this up.
Thank you, John. Any question from you, John? Anything that we can help answer you?
No, I've got some questions for you about the trip in April, May.
Okay.
But
We
other
can
than
connect.
that,
Yeah.
no, this has been great. I still think we have somebody in that 25 to 30 year range that
Right.
We're gonna
graduated
look
from.
hard, John. I agree
Yeah,
with you. We're gonna look
Sure.
Great.
diligently.
There's some people that I don't mind reaching out to, definitely former clients of mine as well. I used to be a case manager.
Right.
There's people that I think that we could find for sure, and I'm willing
yeah.
to make that meeting happen. I don't think it'll be 20 to 30, but maybe one, maybe two, and I really think that
Sure.
we can find that client.
Yeah, and I definitely will take advice for the map thing, and I will look them
Yes,
up and see how I can set up the meeting with them because I
we'll
think
send you. We'll
reaching.
send you the link, Jimmy.
I
We'll
went
send you
ahead
the
and
link.
sent out an email to Christina and
Okay.
you. So you'll see that, and she'll get back to you with all the information for the meetings and everything.
Okay. All right. Thank you so
Sorry
much,
about this.
everybody.
Oh,
It's such a wonderful hour that we spent together here. Thank you so much.
thank you,
Agreed.
Jimmy,
Thank
and
you so
Thank you.
much.
thank you, Lily,
Tell
as
Lily
well,
we said thank you. It was
Yeah.
nice meeting you guys.
and
Yes.
thank you, John.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you,
I'll talk.
John.
All
I'll
right.
talk to all you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye now.
Bye bye.